Ms. Girth, unmute yourself and turn on your camera.
Yes,
Both
sir.
of you raise your right hand. You swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, under penalty and perjury of the law.
I do.
Yes, sir.
All right, Mr. Taylor, I'm going to start with you and ask you a couple of questions. First and foremost, do you have a written or an oral lease with Ms. Girth?
I have an oral lease with Ms. Girth.
Okay, and when did you enter that oral lease?
August 3rd, 2023 was the move-in date.
Okay, and is there a monetary amount that is to be paid for monthly rent?
At the time, there was no monetary amount because she was working and she was trying to get up the money to get into the place. But we did decide when she had the money and when she was able to pay, she would do $150 every 2 weeks.
Okay, which would then subsequently be $300 a month. All right. And was there a late fee that was ever laid out? Or no?
No, sir. No late fee.
Okay. And when did you give her notice that you now would require her to pay the $300 or $150 every 2 weeks?
We gave her notice that the end of September, for 3rd, which is a month later, we gave her notice oral to pay the lease or to pay the rent.
Hold on, Ms. Girth. It'd be best not to make any outbursts. It's difficult for me to hear.
Yes, sir. You're right. I apologize. I'm mindful. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
All right, Mr. Taylor. All right. So you're saying then, so I do see here though that you're not asking for any money, but rather you're saying that they're holding the property beyond the term for which the lease was rented.
Yes.
When did you indicate that you wanted her to vacate?
Eviction notice per Georgia's statute, which we had printed out, was November 14th, 2023. We gave her 7 days to leave the premises. She refused to leave the premises or pay any kind of rent. We've had multiple problems with things that have gone on in the house. I don't want to get into that drama, but I will if need to be later. Then we filed December 7th. We filed the repressatory paperwork and asked her to vacate the premises within 7 days. After that, she never responded to that, and she's still at the premises, telling people that she owns our home.
Okay. All right. Hold on. So I just want to make sure I understand. Now, this is effectively someone that became a month-to-month tenant, right? Because you didn't have any. Correct. And so you're not filing this claim because they didn't pay any rent. You're filing this claim because their term for the lease had expired.
That's correct.
So my question is, under those normal terms, Georgia law normally has a time limit or a time amount that the person is given before a lease can be canceled that is not based upon non-payment of rent. So I'm asking then when was particularly written notice is appropriate. When was any written notice provided to this defendant of the date that they must vacate, otherwise face eviction?
The date for rent notice was September 3rd. The eviction was November 21st.
That wasn't the question.
Hold on, Mr. Don't do
I'm
that.
sorry. He's trying to make it up on the top of his head.
Well, how about you mute yourself since you can't feel the need to stop talking. So hold on, Mr. Taylor. What I'm asking you is, and again, I'm not trying to trip you up. I'm just trying to ask you. So let me just tell you.
She's just going to live for free, and that's not going to happen.
And I listen. I have no interest in anybody breaking anybody's leases or living for free unless that's what they have agreed to.
No, I have not.
But you're not asking for any money.
Okay,
you understand? So wait.
I just want her out of my hair. I don't want to.
I understand. There's an appropriate. Listen to me. Listen to me. You keep talking over me, and then you're not going to be able to get the information that you need to execute what you want to do.
Yes, sir. I understand. But she violates every rule. She doesn't adhere to.
Mr. Taylor, you obviously are becoming frustrated because you're not listening to me. You must assume that I'm going to disagree with you because you're not listening. Listen to me. Right. What I'm saying to you ultimately is that someone in her position would normally be required to get a 60-day notice. You understand? To terminate the lease, right? Unless there is a violation of a term. What I'm saying to you is that you don't have anything identified as being violated other than the lease being terminated. And so the questions that I was just asking were, when did you give the notice for termination? And you're saying, well, you're saying the rent started in September, but
No,
that doesn't,
Go
or
ahead.
late at the end of September. But effectively, or October, whichever it was, it doesn't really matter because we're not here about rent. We're
Right.
here about when she was supposed to leave and she didn't leave. So
Okay.
when did you first tell her to leave in writing?
November 14th, 2023, we told her in writing, we filled out a whole form, Georgia code, all the parameters, everything that we needed to do, and we put it on her door November 14th, 2023.
And so this is my only concern, Mr. Taylor, is that if they're required to receive at least, and I do understand some people say there's a 30, but you don't have a contract to have us have specific terms to run by. We're ran by Georgia terms and Georgia law and statutes and common law. And what I'm saying to you is normally then that would be 60 days.
Okay.
Okay. And because she didn't get 60 days, unless there is another breach, she would be entitled to that notice since this isn't a default on any of the terms.
She didn't pay the rent, Your Honor. How is it
But
done?
that's not what you alleged. You didn't allege anything, man.
I said, first we asked her for the rent, and she denied payment. She said she's not doing anything. She's going to squat in the house. That's what she said.
Mr. Taylor, I'm not trying to defend Miss Worth. That is not my position. And so I want you to be clear. I'm not defending her.
Your Honor,
listen to me. I'm purely asking you about your complaint. You didn't ask for any past due rent. You didn't say that she was behind on rent. I'm not trying to be difficult with you, so calm your blood pressure. What I'm expressing to you is that I can't give you what you want because what you allege is problematic has not occurred. She has not been given notice that she's then living beyond the term for which you've given her notice because you haven't given her the appropriate amount of time. If it was 60 days and she didn't vacate, then you could have filed the action at the end of that term. And if she didn't vacate, right, you're good. And then you could file the action. However, if it was a non-payment of rent issue, that'd be different. But that's not what this is. So
how is it a non-payment of rent, Your Honor? Because I asked her September 1st and she denied. She said she's not going to do it.
And so unfortunately, I don't have the capabilities at this moment because of the device that I'm using. But listen to me. I'm not going to spend any more time on it. But I want you to understand the complaint, the thing that you filed with Georgia court that you had notarized, right? You don't ask for any money. You say, I am asking that the defendant is in possession as a tenant of premises at the above address in DeKalb County. Further, and there are three options, three boxes. First box, that said tenant fails to pay rent now due therein. That's not checked. The second box, the tenant is holding said house and premises over and beyond the term for which the same was rented or leased to him.
Yes.
Right? That's the check. But you didn't give her notice.
Yes, I did. I gave her notice November 14th.
Is that 60 days before you file the case?
60 days before the file of the case. She has 60 days to leave after that. After that point.
No.
So I have to wait. Okay.
Let me educate you because this is not guiding you. I'm just telling you the law. So just so you don't make this mistake again, just stop. I've been trying to tell you the whole time, but you're too busy trying to tell me something else. If you wanted her out and it's not for non-payment, you got to give her at least a 60-day notice, unless it's a breach of another term. And then after that expiration, then you can file because she didn't leave in the term period. But because you just gave her notice November 16th. Today is December 28th, but you filed this action on December 6th. Do you see how that's not 60 days before you file the action? These are the things that she's made allegations of in her answer. That's the only reason why I'm asking you about them. Furthermore, this is an oral lease, and so you don't have any clear terms, so I have to ask you more questions because you decided to have an oral lease, which is totally fine, but that requires more questions. And that question is, when did you give her the 60-day notice to terminate the lease since there's not a default that you're alleging that happened in your complaint? That's all. So what we're going to do is, I'm not trying to be difficult with you because I'm not that kind of person. But I am going to dismiss the case because you didn't do what was statutorily required. Now, let me be clear to you. You can refile. That's totally within your rights. It is not dismissed with prejudice, but you can subsequently follow Georgia law so that I can give you the relief that you're asking for, if it's justified based upon the complaint that you've made. That's all. You understand, Mr. Taylor?
Yeah, I think I'm going to get an attorney, and this is going to change really quick because obviously
Mr. Taylor, you clearly don't understand what I've just been saying, but I want you to think about it. Listen, think about it. And if you want to get an attorney, that necessarily won't expedite the matter if it's not about non-payment. But that is going to be the order of the court. Ms.
She has all these felonies. She's a drug trafficker.
Mr. Taylor, I'm going to let you go because I can understand that you have not taken heed to anything the court has said. So the case is dismissed. You guys are free to go. Thank you.
Okay. Okay.
Yes, sir. So
Ms.
what is it
don't
for
say
me?
a word because you're going to frustrate.
Get an
Please put
attorney.
the clerk, take them all off.
That's what's going on.
Remove both of them, please.
I can't.
Please remove them so I don't get further frustrated. Folks, I want to remind you, and I know they're gone. At some point, I can issue bench warrants. I haven't done it because I don't think it's necessary. But folks, this is still court. I'm still a judge. Disrespecting me, anybody, isn't justified. Why would I want to do something to put people in jail before the first of the year? That would be absurd.
They be knocking at your door.
I'm trying to tell you. They'll come get you. Just because you're not in court today don't mean they won't come get you.
Yeah.
All right. That case is dismissed. Bear with me.